you're ready.
Has anyone in here ever needed a hug? Me too. I'm going to share a verse with you that has comforted me through two of the toughest times of my life. I'm going to tell you a little bit of the background of this book, and I'm going to tell you how you can apply it to your own life, Christian or non-Christian. The verse is 2 Corinthians 1:4. It says, "Who comforts us in all of our troubles, so that we can comfort those in any trouble with the comfort we ourselves have received from God." A little bit of the background of 2 Corinthians is that it's a letter. It's written by Paul and Timothy. It was written to the church of Corinth because they had a lot of sexual sin there. And so this church was kind of getting off of their track, so they needed something to get them back on track. Paul and Timothy wrote a series of letters to this church. This theme of comfort is all throughout the Bible. I have 3 cross references I'm going to share with you. The first one is Psalms 23, 4. And it says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me." The next one is Job 2:11. And it says, "When Job's 3 friends heard about all the troubles that he had come upon him, they set out from their homes and met together by agreement to go and sympathize with him and comfort." So this shows you, friends in the Bible, that leave their own homes and leave what they're doing to go comfort others. And as Christians, that's something that we're called to do. The last one is in Ruth, and it says, "May I continue to find favor in your eyes, my Lord. You have given me comfort and have spoken kindly to your servant, though I do not have the standing of one of your servant girls." A little bit of history on Ruth is Ruth was the daughter-in-law of Naomi, and Naomi, her husband died and both of her sons died. And usually you go and find a new husband if you're young like Ruth was, but instead she stayed with her mother-in-law Naomi and comforted her through those troubles and tribulations. The handout that I have for you today, you can take it out and look at it now. It's a poem about comfort. It talks about how God will comfort you and all the things that you go through, and He'll be there whenever you're hurting or sad or you need someone to talk to. He's there and He'll listen to you. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how this verse comforted me. The first time that it was brought up to me was the day after Isaac and Easton died. It was a really hard time for our whole school, and I was really struggling. So I just texted my youth pastor, and he said, "I think you need to spend a little time in 2 Corinthians 1. This verse really stood out to me, and I realized that the reason we were going through these things was so that we can comfort others. And something that helped comfort me was Jessie the comfort dog. And we had a lot of comfort dogs brought into the school during that time, and they all just came and stayed with us for a little bit so that we could be comforted by them, and anytime that we needed to go there we could and spend time with them. So I thank her for being there today, and I thank you for bringing her. Now, how you can apply this to your own life. If you're a Christian, you can find comfort in God, because He'll always be there. He'll listen, and He'll even talk to you if you listen. Now, let's say you're not a Christian. You can find comfort in people around you, your friends or your family. And for both Christians and non-believers, whatever you go through, you can use that situation and you can use it to comfort others. I don't know if any of you know this, but shortly after the school year ended, a church in St. Louis went through the same thing that we did. They lost 2 of their students at the church from drowning in a river nearby. And we had little meetings on Tuesdays where we could get together in fellowship and talk. And we wrote notes to them. And it made it a lot easier because I truly knew what they were going through. And so it was a lot easier than just saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry for your loss." I really knew what they were going through, so I knew some things to share with them. And I shared this verse with them. The second time that this verse was brought up to me was when I was at church camp this summer in Tennessee. My grandpa died while I was there. I was 7 hours away from home, and my grandpa died. Luckily, I had my mom with me, and God knew that it was the time for him to die because I was surrounded by 600 Christians. And that was more comforting than it would have been if I was at home, believe it or not. Since this verse was being shared throughout the week, I was really able to study it and get in it and let it affect my life. I was able to share this with my mom when I found my mom being weaker than I was. She texted me on the way home and she said, I don't want to go home because it's going to be so much different whenever we get back. And I told my mom, I was like, Mom, it's okay because God has you in his hands. And so this verse has affected my family and myself very much, and I hope that it'll affect you now or it will sometime in your life.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's give her a round of applause. Madison.